All right, we are live here. This is another edition of Engaging Personalities. My name is Anders Belanger, and I'm the founder and CEO of Engagify, and I have this little LinkedIn Live, Facebook, YouTube show there where I bring people on who I think are either engaging personalities and are fascinating, or they've come up with something that's fascinating and creating more engagement so that we can deepen connection and command attention. And today we have a special guest whose name is Christopher Rockwell Bent, but I hope I can call him Chris. Chris, I'm going to welcome you to the show. You are founder of Piccles. We'll get into what Piccles is all about. Actually, because I've teased that, can you just kind of explain what is Piccles? What is that all about?
Yeah, so pickles, they're this cucumber. You actually put it into vinegar, and that was what most people think of pickles. But these pickles are spelled Piccles because they stand for a combination of pictures and pixels. So we put those together, and the platform, which we'll show you a little bit later, is a way for a lot of people to create pictures, but then have those combine to form a bigger picture.
Gotcha. So it is a collaborative artistic endeavor that is useful in virtual engagement, right? And I think that's where we actually connected just on LinkedIn just recently, and we were kind of like, I think we're fighting the same fight here, right? Trying to create engagement. And I was like, hey, this is cool. So that's why I wanted to have you on. And so just tell me a little bit about what is your background, Chris? Like before Pickles became a thing, what do you do?
Yeah, so I have always been entrepreneurial. I was a kid and wanted to make some money, so I started mowing neighbors' lawns and growing that landscaping business all throughout college. And in college, I started other companies to just try and, this was a crowdfunding for solar arrays, where essentially we were trying to help libraries or schools put solar by raising the money from their community. So I've always had ideas and tried to bring them about into the world. But it wasn't until 2016 when a friend of mine got $1 million in seed funding and asked me to join his sales team for his company that I felt that entrepreneurial drive in me start to leave. And the creeping into the corporate 9-to-5 world, I just felt creativity kind of gone from my life. And so I started building Pickles as a way to tap back into that creative expression that entrepreneurship was giving me, but then I felt take away from me with this corporate job that I was in.
So, and we need this right now, don't we? Like what Pickles can provide. Why do you think this is important right now? I just want to, I have my own reasons, but I would love to know, what inspired you to start this off in the first place?
Yeah, so I realized that creativity is one of the most important things us humans have. It's the use of imagination and original ideas. And I think it just makes people just find that passion within themselves when they are taking ideas and manifesting them into the world, and then allowing for others to interact with it, to play with it. Like, I think that there's nothing more exciting than building something and seeing someone just observe it, interact with it, like just have an experience they wouldn't have had if you didn't take your idea and put it into the world. And so I started building this as a way to just kind of tap back into that creativity that, like, as kids, we all have it exploding from us, but then as adults, we start to kind of lose it as we fall into our grooves, and we join companies that have a creative department. So what does that signal to everyone who doesn't work in the creative department? It's just like, you do your stuff and leave the creativity to other people. But since then, I mean, we've been using this in the virtual world because honestly, you're probably Zoom fatigued. I think everybody is pretty Zoom fatigued. And I think that comes a lot from just watching Zoom and having to pay attention to it. It's, as someone who I need to fidget with things and be doing things, like, I'm an active learner, and just plopping me in front of what could have been a YouTube video to just kind of watch a presentation, it doesn't keep me there. And so that's why I think that engagement is so crucial in this virtual world that we live in, that will soon be a hybrid world, and actually tapping into the potential of all of the people who gather for these virtual meetings, events, instead of just being an opportunity of broadcasting. I think that is really where the world is going, and what we're trying to help accomplish with some of the tools that we're building.
Yeah, so I love the collaboration, like you said, that instead of just watching a YouTube video, it makes you actively participate. And I think, with the creativity side of things. And so I was flashing a bit of the website. I know you're going to demo this, which people will really get it at this point. The other thing that I wanted to say is I feel, to kind of complement what you were saying, why we need this right now, is that there's a lack of empathy that I find in virtual interactions, right? Mm-hmm. Like the fact that there's not really maybe a lot of warm-up time. There's a lot of meetings that just like, okay, we're on. There's not that little bit of rapport building that would happen, and right. Then when you're done, it's like, okay, bye, click, and it's gone. And so people don't have that kind of. You don't have to be shown out the door. There's not all these niceties, and we kind of. Because we're staring at a screen, not at a person, there isn't that empathy. And what I was looking at from your product, because of the expression of people, mm-hmm. can create a lot more of that empathy and the emotion that can come out of art too. I think we need that piece.
Yeah. So, you said it so well. It just seems like everything has kind of become very transactional, where, I mean, your life is the calendar that you keep, and all of those Zoom links are your commutes now. And like, you're just clicking through them. Everyone has to-do lists that always seem to be growing and not shrinking. And I think that empathy, that connection, the 5 minutes before and after a meeting, which sometimes those are the most important minutes, because those allow you to connect with each other and to feel like you're working with people, with real humans that are making a difference, not just you in your silo doing what's kind of handed down to you.
Yeah. So Chris, can we do a little demo? Because I think we're talking about it and around it, and I think if people see what it is, they'll get excited, like, oh, and then might get some questions and some more interaction from the people watching, because I think it's once they see it. And I'm just while you're getting that organized, like, I mean, the website, just all these and it's mostly off your phone. Is that right? How it works, because of the idea that you're drawing with your finger? Is that kind of how that works?
Exactly. So it's really meant to be a 2-screen experience that allows for more interactivity. So you use your phone and you see everything appearing on your computer in front of you. So do you actually have your phone with you, Anders?
I do. I'm holding it right here. Yeah.
Awesome. And all you need to do, so I am sharing my screen now, and all you need to do, if you, because I can't see what the broadcast looks like, but if you see that QR code on the screen, and actually anyone watching along, or even watching in the replay, they're going to be able to take out their phone, scan this QR code. Yeah, we'll keep this live. This will always be available.
This is getting exciting now. Okay.
Yeah. So if you actually, if you take out your phone and scan that QR code, and then click on the link that drops down from the top of your phone, you should be redirected to the drawing canvas that you can then start drawing in. And my question for you, Anders, is pretty easy. What do you need most right now?
What do I need most right now? Okay.
Yeah. And so this is this usually is blank, and all of it is kind of populated as people are drawing. But yeah, and that is the tricky part. You just need to draw your answer. And so this taps into that creative side of your brain where you might not be able. Oh wow, we've got two people joining here. I thought, is yours the music note, or are you on a table right now?
I'm on the table.
Okay. Nice. It looks like someone else viewing this. This is interesting. So this is a big table, Anders, or.
Well, you know what? I was going to say, well, I'm looking for support. I'm just, like and viewers and engagement. And I was like, how do I symbolize support? But now that I put that there, I'm used to being on stage, and I haven't been on stage for a year. So maybe there's some other stuff coming out of that. But, so, and what's the other one's a music note. Okay. Well, I don't even know.
It looks like someone in the audience, they need that music, maybe live music back in their life.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. And I love this too, because like we use this a lot to spark conversations as well. Like I'll highlight a drawing, and then this kind of gives you the floor to then describe your drawing. And it can be a fun way to pass around that virtual speaking stick in an audience. We've got someone. I don't know if you need more gigs as well, or if these are more audiences coming in. But yeah, you can see that it works in real time as well. And so as everyone is kind of showing up through their brushstrokes, through this really kind of authentic, it's just your ideas going through your finger and then onto this shared space. It really kind of gives you a sense for the people who are in the room, which right now we're collecting a couple of drawings, but I'll show you, like, we can have really as many people as participating all join here. And as they're all showing up live and in real time, I'll just see if my spreadsheet or the Google Docs opens up here. But yeah, basically it provides, there's a lot of action, a lot of kind of things that are happening that gives you a sense for all of those people who you are participating there. And yeah, there's lots of things that you can do with all of these drawings after the fact as well. Like you can plant a beautiful meadow full of all the flowers that you drew, or you can create data visualizations that reveal that, well, wine is bringing a lot of joy during this pandemic.
So, that's so cool. So now there's the applications. I mean, you just kind of talked about it. One is during an event, like right at the start, and I could see this I mean, I have a lot of trainer and speaker friends and people putting that out there going, hey, how's everyone feeling? And getting this kind of, reading the room through the art, right? And kind of getting that sense. And then you kind of talked about after the event that you collect all those drawings and then you have those presented either in an email or, it's put up on a website to kind of commemorate what happened, right? Just like, here's what we did kind of thing. And to bring back the memories, the warm, fuzzy feelings of the event, right?
Yeah, exactly. We make a lot of videos as well too. These kind of visual storytelling videos, which in a lot of cases will take them all of the drawings that we do during an icebreaker or networking or team building session, and then we'll kind of put them into a narrative that just allows you to kind of see how everyone thinks and feels about different subjects that you ask. Like we're really turning into, I like questions a lot more than answers. And I think a good question, it puts people into a certain mind space. So you ask what someone's grateful for, and then you ask them to draw what they're grateful for, and they're going to spend time in this feeling of gratitude. And it really, it can change you. It can change just your thought processes. And there's lots of different ways of potentially using it there.
I do really like the idea that when you are, as a speaker or a trainer, and people are like, all right, I'm just going to sit back and watch this guy kind of thing, which, to force them to kind of want to contribute, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where, you might scan it. At first you said, what do you need? What do you need most right now? And I'm like I kind of was a bit of a deer in the headlights going, what am I going to draw? And what can I draw? It's gonna be, right? Like wrapping my head around that piece.
Yeah.
But then when you see other people contributing, right? And you're going, oh, okay, I want to get in there too, right? Like it's kind of that kind of thing. So, and Robin just had another comment here. Studies show that people use and practice gratitude are happier overall. So you are kind of tricking people into taking on these different states through these different questions, right? Like and to kind of explore that space. So it's a very interesting kind of thing. Now, getting back to the applications there for a second. People who practice, great. People who practice the gratitude. Thanks, Robin, for the correction. Is that, I think I saw somewhere too, can you send something before the event too? Like, can you email this out? I guess it's a link, right? So as long as the event is set up, it will collect when and whenever those drawings are made. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. So we have also kind of built out this asynchronous version where you can send out a link through email, through LinkedIn, wherever it may be. And anyone who clicks that, it's almost like a visual survey that they can do where you draw your answer and then you see an Instagram feed essentially of everyone else's responses. And then you can jump to the next question, draw your answer, and then see that. And so we kind of built this out to engage people before the event, learn about them, just create content that can actually be used at the event, which is pretty cool when you actually show up and wow, your doodle that you made 2 months ago is now like part of it. But we also use this for just for Earth Day a couple weeks ago on LinkedIn. I made a post and I said, for every tree that's drawn, we're going to plant a tree. And I was a little bit nervous after getting into it because I was like, I don't have a tree budget, but there are a lot of drawings. And after about 455 people drew their favorite tree, we took all of them, we planted and created a digital forest. And then we found a tree planting partner who are now going to be planting all of these saplings in Australia and California, Quebec, all around the world. And so that was the first time that we've ever kind of done a campaign of that sorts, that it was all asynchronous. People were just doing it on their own time, but it kind of blended the digital and the physical. So you're doing something in the digital world, but it has this very real physical world impact.
Yeah, to be able to merge the two and just kind of have that nice twist where it's there is, and I've seen this in trade shows. I have quite a bit of experience working in different trade shows where instead of giving out gifts, people were saying, for a scan, we will donate money to a charity or whatever. So then you have that altruistic kind of not reinforcement, motivation, I should say, right?
Yeah.
That makes you take part and engage that way. Yeah, well, okay. This is, so what gave you this idea in the first place, Chris? Like what was that moment where you went, oh, someone should do that and no one has yet?
Yeah. So I'll actually show you, because again, I'm always a visual person. It really began, it's been a journey. We've started this over 5 years ago now in April of 2016. And it originally began as a collaborative coloring book where, I don't know if you see the Mona Lisa on my screen right here, but basically the thought was, I suck at drawing, but if you only give me a tiny little bit, then I can't really screw it up that bad. And so I also don't have to spend an hour doing a piece of art that's going to look terrible. You just give me my little place, make it anonymous, choose my brush strokes for me, and then give me a background image to color over. And I can't really mess that up so bad. So that was the kind of original idea, was to have this social way to create that had less barriers. Because honestly, if you ask someone to make a drawing that everyone is going to be looking at and judging and critiquing, they're not going to want to do that. It's just too uncomfortable. And so it really started out as this collaborative coloring book, but then it evolved as we started using it to ask questions like, how are you feeling today? Or are you Democrat or Republican? Which testy subjects to enter. But this was kind of a way that people could safely visualize their thoughts and ideas and get everything just out there to then lead a discussion, a conversation about how everyone thinks and feels without necessarily putting anyone on the spot. And that's really how it started. And we've since found, I mean, so many different uses for it. Like we're working with lots of different associations, different nonprofits. We're getting ready to launch in children's hospitals as well, as a way that kids who are isolated can draw and feel more of a sense of connection and community without having to leave their hospital rooms.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Chris, there's one comment. Larry Wyatt, who's a speaker and a presenter for trade shows, he said, this would be amazing for hybrid events. Virtual and live attendees could equally engage and enjoy, which is a great point that we are like, and you mentioned before, we're going to be in a hybrid world coming up. How do we bridge that gap from the live audiences right there, virtual audiences at home watching, streaming it in? Everyone can participate in this. So it is kind of a ground leveler in that sense.
Yeah, I love that comment, Larry. I'm excited for hybrid events for sure. I think that's going to be the future. Now that people have realized that virtual events, you really increase the reach, you increase the accessibility of your event. I think we're going to see a lot of hybrid where we still have that virtual component, and then certain people who like really want to be there are going to show up in person.
Gotcha. So how does this work, Chris, in terms of, well, not to get into the pricing model so much, but what, like if, you know, you can sign up for free. And I think I had that, I might put up that banner again. What does it mean for individuals using it? And then how does an event then utilize it? You know what I mean? If they were to put that on, what does that look like? Yeah.
So with the kind of the way that we do it is we have the software and then we have services, because I mean, in the events world, a lot of people want a turnkey solution. There's so much event tech that has come out that it's like intimidating to learn all of it. And so that's why in a lot of cases, we will have our facilitators come on and help to set up the activity and run it for everyone, whether it's adding some animation during a networking event or to run a breakout session or an icebreaker. And then if you love technology, or you are a workshop facilitator, or you are an association management company and you just kind of want the software to use with all of these different events that you do all the time, then you could certainly just get a subscription and use it and have fun with it and see all the different ways of going that way.
Yeah, very cool. Like I said, and I think you found me through CAPS, Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. I know a lot of my colleagues there would find this fascinating. Would find new and cool ways of implementing this into their presentations. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with them as well.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I don't know. I'm running out of questions, but I'm fascinated with this. I want to try it out for myself, and I think that's probably the easiest and best way, right? Is just to kind of, set up a little thing for yourself, try it out, and then see how people respond. And so the QR code, you would just put that into your presentation, right? You can just pop that in.
Yeah. So that QR code, it's like always on the left side. You can copy that and put it into a slide in your presentation. But I almost always, I'll just like have that link. And when I share my screen, I'll just open that tab. And on that page, everyone can just scan the QR code or follow a link. And then it's a web application. So no downloads, no signups, anything like that. It's all anonymous. So we try and keep the friction as low as possible. And then, just like, I mean, even with some speakers, or our facilitators will kind of come on as that engagement piece, just to like run the activity. Like, all right, pulling this person in, we're gonna have some fun using Pickles for a second, and so we've even started doing that with some professional speakers to be their kind of sidecar that's pulled into these.
That's a nice idea, and especially too, if depending on how it runs, but sometimes there's a little too much of one person, and to have this in facilitate that. And of course, you guys are the experts in doing the Pickles, facilitation, or what, I don't know what you call it, but
Yeah.
It sounds very official and yet fun. Pickles facilitation.
Yeah.
That's very awesome. Well, hey, Chris, thank you so much for coming on. And like, we have the website down there, so I do encourage people to check that out. And I do want to talk to you after this as well. So stick around.
Yeah, I will not just sign off. I want to figure out how you did all those things with that Sharpie. I was seeing that intro, and I was like, man.
Very cool. Hey, thanks so much, Chris, again for coming, and thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anders. This is a lot of fun. This is cool. Thank you.